Well, you know, our final article this week is an article called What Gets Measured Also Gets Managed, which ran in Tuesday's issue of QDD.
Of QDD, that's right. And the article comes to us from Kari Miller. And Kari is the Senior Director of Industry Solutions and Product Management for Pilgrim Software. It's a very nicely written piece, and it talks in practical terms about how a laser focus on process improvement leads to a quality of culture within an organization. And besides, anybody who can quote Gandhi and Philip Crosby within the same article, she's singing my song.
There you go.
I love that. Okay, so we're going to delve a little more deeply into these issues, and to do so, I'd like to welcome back to the show Kari Miller of Pilgrim Software. Hello, Kari.
Hello, how are you?
We're doing very well, thank you. Thank you for joining us again, Kari. We had you on the show, I believe, a couple of months ago, or early in 2012, and we had a nice time with you, so we wanted to bring you back and chat a little bit more about what you perceive about quality and improvement in organizations. I want to jump into it. You talk first about teamwork as a real key to quality improvement. So what are some of the things in your perspective that good team members do to improve quality in their organizations, even if it means going beyond their normal operating procedures or normal work job instructions?
Sure. So let's start with the definition of teamwork, right? It's a cooperative effort by a group of people to achieve a common goal. So the common goal is the first thing that everybody has to have to be a team. And to go beyond a standard operating procedure, you have to know what that is. And basically, that's just it's something that's written, it's encoded, that helps employees do a particular task. It helps them be successful at it. Its whole purpose is to create consistency and predictability in a process. But that really brings us to the heart of your question, and that is, you know, if an organization's embraced a culture of quality, continuous improvement is a given, and continuous is the key word here. Change occurs quickly, and it introduces variability and elements of unpredictability in the process. The team members must be willing and able to report and respond to that variability, and the organization must have processes and channels implemented for them to do that with. So that requires tools as well. Giving this open communication, by the way, to employees is very important. But that's the key is this: because you have change, because you have variability, because you have predictability or unpredictability, you need to start anticipating what's going to happen before it happens, and that's the tricky thing. So making sure that everyone is fully engaged goes well beyond what can be encoded in an SOP.
You know, you talk about teamwork, and you talk nicely about it, thank you. But teamwork is more than just the people within the organization. And talk about maybe how you spread a culture of quality to your suppliers, to your customers. How do you work across just your organization with those others that you work with?
Absolutely. And having a culture of quality does have to go across your entire value chain, and that, of course, includes suppliers, which you intimate. You know, in a culture of quality, there is no such thing as an intermittent problem. In a culture of quality, we understand that every problem, every defect has a root cause, that all of those things are preventable, and that, you know, it's better to prevent things than to have to correct them after the fact. So bringing your suppliers and everyone in your value chain, that includes your customers, into the culture of quality with you, looking at processes and working in a continuous improvement, with a continuous improvement methodology is critical, because just let's take a supplier example. If they choose to change something in their product that, you know, to them looks like it doesn't change form, fit, or function at all, it could very much impact your processes without them even knowing it. So making sure that there's that open communication, that dedication to figuring out the root cause of any problem or defect is going to be critical for any organization if they really want to take that unpredictability out of their environment.
Well, I think that's well said, and to me that comes down to data. And my question always is, you know, you can sometimes have data overload. You know, there's a lot of data in an enterprise, in a wide, far-flung organization. So how do you, as Duran put it, how do you kind of separate out the vital few from the useful many when you're looking at data points?
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, information is key to quality, no matter what industry that you're in. And it's particularly important that in industries where variability is the norm, especially when you're dealing with chemicals or pharmaceuticals or something like that. But I actually take a little bit different approach to this than some people do, because quite frankly, while there are a few things that you should always measure, like cost of quality, both good and bad, like, you know, on-time shipments, those sorts of things that we're all familiar with, where I vary is, I think for you to really get to the vital few that are important here and now, you have to define the many. So I think you up front need to look at all of the metrics that you need to watch in your organization based on, you know, whatever you produce, what your processes look like. And then you also have to, at the same time, establish thresholds and alerts so that as you get circumstances that are trending towards a problem, you're alerted to those things ahead of time, and then those become the key metrics that you focus on. You know, it goes to that old saying, you know, don't fix what isn't broke, right? So go ahead and by the way, there's others that would tell you, you know, go ahead and break it then, right? Because you've got to do that as well. But my point is that you can drown yourself if you're watching those processes too closely that are running smoothly. So if you define all your metrics and you define those thresholds and alerts to make sure that you don't miss anything critical, you can stay very focused without losing sight of the overall operation.
Well, I like that. I like that idea of understanding. You need to understand the many to really understand what the few are, and that's yes. A really well said point. We got to wrap it up here, Kari. But before I let you go, I want to just ask you, what do you see as something we need to look out for as 2013? The spirit of risk assessment and preparation. What do quality managers need to be looking out for, do you think, in 2013, this year coming up in the next 12 months?
Sure, and there's probably no surprise in this answer. And, you know, in the next 12 months, the two things that they very likely know are going to happen is that regulations are going to continue to increase, and compliance reporting requirements are going to continue to grow in complexity. And just for example, ISO 9000-2008 is anticipated to focus on elements of risk and effectiveness training. The second is that the pace of change is going to continue to increase, multiplying the risk within the organization. So you have to be aware of those things. And part of the reason that change and the rate of change has happened so quickly is because data is available everywhere these days. Our consumers are much more informed. They know what their choices are, and they know what they can and can put up with and shouldn't put up with, if you will. So you've got to really focus the organization on change management. It's going to play a heightened role in any organization in the months to come. And that's also going to require broadening organizational participation in activities that are traditionally considered quality activities. So really kind of opening up that net, if you will, to bring the whole organization into monitoring change and managing risk is going to be really critical to the success of any organization.
Okay, well, thank you, Kari. We got to kind of wrap it up right now, but thank you for joining us on the show. And as Kari Miller from Pilgrim Software, and as Kari, as you pointed out, risk management is the big topic going forward, I think.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Kari. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks.
All right.